All right, all right. Howdy, y'all. Happy Tuesday, November 29th. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay in the chat. Nell Santiago, Alan, Headstock Harem, Mike, Punchy Nuts, Bell Biv DeVoe, Michael, MTBR. What's up, gentlemen? Let me switch to live chat so I can make sure I don't miss anybody. Yuka Frita, what's up? Massalorian is AWOL tonight, so I imagine he's probably working on a video. We may have some other guests hop on, and if you're watching this, if you're tuned in and you're a content creator that I know that is normal, not feel free to hit me up in the chat, and I'll send you over an invite on Twitter or email if I have your email. Kim, what's going on? Maximus, Jedi Master, good evening. Hope you guys are having a great day. What a week this has been already, huh? Tomorrow we got Fed Chairman Powell speaking Wednesday evening. We've got some jobs reports and some other data coming out tomorrow morning. So we will have to wait and see. I see crypto, Bitcoin pushing up almost to 17,000, 16,943. Ethereum 1270. I don't know if you guys saw this notice. I don't think I tweeted it out. I just posted it in the Discord. Coinbase wallet to end support for Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, not a big deal, but XRP and XLM will also be ending support Coinbase wallet. So Ripple and Stellar, they're saying because not enough trading activity. Eric Bissell, what's up, amigo? What have I been trading lately, Eric? We're going to talk about some of that. Am I still the most handsome man alive? I'm pretty sure you got me beat there, Eric. Even though I've never seen your picture, somehow I think you probably got me beat. What's going on? Todd at Winnington, good evening. Six Son, good evening. Some of you guys that are in the Discord, we've been having a lot of chat about all these plays that are going on. Those of you on YouTube wondering why I'm not talking about them. Well, because I've been doing a lot of due diligence on these plays that you guys are in, and I don't want to sway you one way or the other to buy, sell, or hold these momentum trades. But when I find something that no one is bringing to you, I make sure and tweet it out or put it in the community tab. So make sure you follow me on Twitter or that you're checking that community tab on YouTube at least once a day. And we're going to talk about the tickers. I'm sure these are ones that you guys probably are going to ask questions about anyways, but went ahead and put them in the video title. COSM, GTII, MMTLP, MULN, APE, AMC, GameStop, and whatever else you guys want to talk tonight until I get too tired to go on, too tired to continue. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen. I'll talk briefly about what's going to happen with the market in the next 6 months. We got the crystal ball all polished up, and what could happen with crypto. Keep in mind, everything is just my opinion. My opinion might differ from your opinion. It might differ from other content creators' opinions. This is just me sharing my thoughts. Please, nobody get your feelings hurt. We gotta act like grown men and ladies. Just because someone has a different opinion than you, you don't need to go get your feelings hurt. Just take it, listen. If you can't use it, throw it away. If you can use it, maybe it'll be helpful to you. Richard Delaney, what's going on? King Joey the Ape might get some COSM, he said, still on the sideline. Mr. Mills says, I would like you to explain what would happen to AMC MOAS if there was a buyout. So, yeah, I don't like using the word MOAS. It's just something that because people attribute MOAS to these $1 million price targets, and that's never been something that I've talked about. I'll talk about what what could happen to the stock price in the event of a buyout. Absolutely. Kim says, what does Al know that we don't? I don't know, Kim. I don't watch clickbait channels, so I haven't seen his videos in months. Real Rugged says, different opinions. How dare you, Tony? How dare you come at us with your facts and due diligence and possibly different opinions? Let me rush out a video about that and say how piece of shit you are, Tony Denaro. You dared to have another opinion that didn't confirm my bias. You must be a shill, Tony Denaro. Lordy, I'm glad. Hey, welcome to all the haters. I'm here to give you your daily content. Make sure and get those clips and get them out. We love the publicity, and we do thank you. My part of my job here tonight, guys, is to give all the haters something good to talk about. Let's start it off with a shot. We got the hater mug, the skulls of previous enemies. We're just going to sip tonight, no shots. Nell says, hey, Tony, what do you think about AMC forming a partnership with Amazon or Disney? Partnerships. Okay, let's kind of go through some of these questions that you guys have. Partnerships would be interesting to me with any, whether it's, I'm not going to try and pin one down. I know people are doing it. Amazon, Disney, Netflix, doesn't matter to me. Partnerships are good. Buyout, I don't know. I'm not so excited about a buyout from anybody. Why? Because you guys know, you've seen buyouts. The acquiring company will offer a price, and let's just pick Twitter. 50. What was it? $54. We're going to offer you $54 a share, whatever it was. Let's pick a price for AMC. We'll offer you $12 a share, $20 a share, whatever. Pick your price, and that's what you're going to get paid. And I would rather avoid dealing with a buyout and see if we can get a squeeze on improving fundamentals. That's where my heart's at. They're going to pay whatever they offer per share is going to be for the existing counted shares. You could think there's 100 million synthetics, 1 billion synthetics, 10 billion, does not matter. The buyout is based on existing shares and the price that they offer. So that's not too exciting to me. You won't be seeing me making videos getting all excited about a buyout. I'm quite the opposite. All right, Jersey Recycler says, funny how GTII collapsed. Who here remembers me talking about GTII over the last 2 months, and what did we say based on the chart? Oh man, I'm pissed off a lot of people in the last 2 months, you guys, talking about GTII and my thoughts on what was going to happen, because they just don't like it when I read charts. Let me go to the right one. So back here in early October, when it peaked, and then we started getting declining candlesticks and declining volume, I started saying, you guys need to be careful. Declining volume and declining price is generally a warning sign that the play is wrapping up, as my buddy in New York likes to say. And you guys know I've been very consistent in saying I do not believe, sorry, don't hate, I don't believe the due diligence that's been put out on this play that was backing up a squeeze to $100 or $1,000 based on the current information and what we know about GTII. Now, could things change 2-3 months down the road? And so what I said that really pissed people off is that GTII is not going to see $8-9 range again. It's just going to trail down. And that is exactly what happened here. And some people in the Discord took that information, banked their money, got out and said, thank you. And then other people just want to argue with me for 2 months. If you made money on this play, if you got in early, 60 cents, $1, fucking fantastic play. These are what we look for: momentum trades. Get in early, get out at a reasonable price, bank your money, move on. I've spent 2 months watching all these people, a dozen of them on Twitter and a couple on YouTube, maybe, the guy in New York and some of his friends, and I just can't get behind the DD that they're putting out. That's just my opinion, guys. But this played out exactly the way that I expected. What could happen with upstream? Yes, if and when there's a dual listing, when that happens, and I did talk to upstream today. They said typically 3 to 4 weeks from the time that the 3 to 4 weeks from the time that the application is made. So that's the time frame. I don't know why it's so hard for the guy in New York to figure that out. I mean, I figured it out in about 15 minutes by sending an email. But that wasn't really the deal. He knew, just like I did, that this play was winding down and he needed to attack GTII to have an excuse to stop talking about it. So it is what it is. He had a great call getting people in this early, great, bringing the troops together to move the price up. Beautiful play. Should have stopped talking about it at $9 is what he should have done. And then he would have been a hero. But yeah, there could be another move up, a small, what I'll call a mini squeeze, maybe half of this $9 range when upstream, if it goes through, when it goes through. So that's what I'd be looking for if you're stuck in this play at this point. I have no guarantees that they'll complete the upstream listing, but I imagine they will. And I would say you're probably looking about a month from now. I did see that Shift Pixie also had put out a press release back in September on upstream, and I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of time digging, but I couldn't see where they ever sent out another press release. That was September. Here we are, practically in December. Didn't see a press release that they completed it. So let me know in the chat if Shift Pixie completed their upstream dual listing. All right, so that wraps up GTII. Congrats to all of you who made money on that. It was a fantastic play in early October. People should have stopped talking about it, and they didn't. And now it's winding down. Let's move on to the next one. I'll do COSM, COSM next, and then MMTLP. And a lot of this is just recap of what we've been saying over the past few live streams, or even the past few months, depending on which ticker we're talking about. But for those of you that are new or missed some of those, we'll crunch through them real quick. Again, these are my opinions based on my research, my reviewing other people's due diligence, and looking at charts. So I said on Friday in the live stream, I said again on the weekend on Twitter, that Monday could be very interesting and still looked bullish for COSM. Some people I know got in early that weren't in it, still got in early on Monday, and they're up 100% almost. They had an opportunity between Monday morning and the high today to get 100% gain. If you got in back in 10, 14, 15 cent range, you're sitting pretty on COSM. Yeah, I do not agree. I'll say the bad news. But I'll say the bad news first, but is irrelevant to the momentum play. It's just what brought people into the momentum play. COSM, I cannot find any backing up evidence to back up this reported 700% short interest. And I talked to the guy from S3 who's putting out this number, and he thinks that the free float of COSM is 0.92 million shares. When you divide that out, do your percentage calculation with the known shorts, that would give you 600 to 700%. But I think I'm waiting for anybody to show me a free float that is 0.92 million shares on COSM. I think we all know that it's there's a variety of different numbers. Let's just say 40-ish million shares. So the COSM short interest percentage is probably, last time I checked over the weekend, it was probably around 11%. Irrelevant what it is. If people are willing to go in and buy it, it's a momentum play. Nothing else matters, right? But why do I look at stuff like that? Because I want to know how high could it really go? These guys that are saying COSM's going to $100, are they basing that off of bad due diligence or legitimate information? The fact that they're basing their estimates for price targets off of bad information, I do not agree with their price targets. So the good news is the daily chart to me still says this has some bullish potential into tomorrow and maybe next week. I know a lot of people want to see this get over $1. It very well could. The higher it gets, the more of a caution flag I want you to be thinking as it's moving up. But it could make a several dollar run if people keep buying it. It's still cheap, 77 cents. This is not based, the short interest, there is short interest. Let's call it 10, 15, 20%, whatever you want. Last time I checked, it was around 11 point something. The cost to borrow is high, meaning there's not that many people lending out shares. But the fact that retail is still buying it, you still see that high volume and it's still making moves up day after day after day, still has potential to keep going. This was the best play when I was looking at it on Friday for this week, COSM. And I would say I'm not calling it done yet, but I'm saying the higher it goes, you just need to be more aware and keep a closer eye on it. Code Red says GTII has a coin coming. Yeah, we talked about that a minute ago. And I also have tweeted out and put out the information for you guys now about this upstream dual listing. There's a lot of things people aren't telling you. Like, for example, once the dual listing is done on upstream, did anybody else tell you that US and Canadian investors cannot buy on upstream? No, nobody's telling you that. You can only sell. So you're going to be dual listed on a platform where you only have a sell button. Maybe that's important. Maybe it's not. Maybe, like they say, just by virtue of being listed, it's going to reveal a bunch of shorts. I have my doubts, since these guys can't get any other information correct. I don't put a lot of faith in anything they say. All right, so that is my take on COSM. I'm still more bullish than bearish on COSM. I'm not in GTII. I'm not in COSM. Not long. I'm not short. Just doing the work, watching these. I will be getting in the next one, and I will be putting a video out on it. Let's talk about MMTLP and MMAT. MMAT, I haven't been spending a lot of time looking into it because really the action going on right now is in MMTLP. And I've been saying for months, in my opinion, again, don't hate. This is based on my due diligence. This is my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to share my thoughts, what I've been saying for the past couple months. As we get a date, which we now have one, what is it? December 14th is the final listing date, if I'm not mistaken. The MMTLP is going to be converted to NextBridge, which will be going private December 14th. Yeah, I think that's the date. It'll be going private or being delisted. People hate when we say the word delisted, but delisted just means the ticker is going to be removed from trading. So don't take it as a negative. It's the same thing. Twitter got delisted because it got taken private. MMTLP is going to go private to NextBridge. If you hold it all the way through, your MMTLP will disappear. You'll get NextBridge shares, and you will not be able to trade them anywhere because they're not a listed ticker. So I see people saying, I'm going to hold all the way through. Fuck the hedgies. All right, You could do that, but you're going to be hanging on to something that you cannot trade. Maybe in the future you will. I can't say for sure, but the day that it gets delisted, you'll get something the next business day that will not be tradable. And if you want to do that, that's fine. You do you. But what I think is going to happen between now and the 14th, you guys can check back with me over the next couple of weeks, is that we'll see. Look, I get it. Everybody's gung ho about 80 million hidden shares carried forward from Torchlight that you were promised that they were going to cover during the Torchlight MMAT merger, and it didn't happen. So they must be out there somewhere, or possibly someone was wrong a year ago. But whatever. I mean, people think that those got carried all the way forward, even though they're not reported anywhere, and that they're magically going to get covered when it gets delisted and converted to NextBridge. I've talked to Fidelity's trading desk. I've talked to short sellers. I am not in agreement with that assessment that the shorts must cover. And I don't believe the 80 million shares, but MMTLP has been a fantastic play up to $10, $12. Fantastic. So if I had to put money on what would happen, and again, I could be wrong. If I had to put money on what would happen, I'm calling for it's going to slow fade between now and mid-December, and at some point have a big drop off, just like GTII, as people start getting out of the play because they don't want to carry it over to NextBridge. So that's my prediction. Check with me over the next couple of weeks. See if I was right, or if you get to throw water balloons at me. I'm not in the play. If you're in it, I hope I'm wrong and that it goes to $100. I truly do. I love to see retail making money. And you guys, if you got in MMTLP or you were holding those from the dividend distribution way back when, you're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. I want to see you keep the money. At least maybe consider taking some risk off the table. All right, what else? MULN. So I had said, a couple weeks ago I was going to buy MULN if it dropped to 25 cents, just for a very risky speculative play. Why risky? Because MULN is at least a year away, 2024, from any meaningful production of the MULN 5. Yes, they have IGO. Yes, they have the Bollinger. That's going to be, you can go read their own documentation where they tell you they expect their revenue to be coming from the MULN 5. That's not me telling you that. That is their own words. So you can hang your hat on that, IGO and Bollinger. There's going to be some revenue from that. Is it going to be meaningful? Not really. There's a delivery date on up to 300 vans for November 30th. I know some people are watching that date. That's hanging out there for MULN. Could be some negative sentiment if no announcements made by November 30th. Although in MULN's defense, I will say that November 30th date is the earliest delivery date. So it's not the final cutoff. Don't chop their legs off if nothing happens on the 30th. That was the earliest delivery date, if I recall. Other things coming up, MULN is going to have a meeting, I think, on December 21st or 23rd, where they're going to vote on a reverse split and a dilution, and probably both of those will be approved. So right when MULN was approaching 25 cents, I found out about that dilution to 5 billion shares, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to wait on buying, because I'm not too thrilled about more dilution for MULN. But they need to probably do it to raise some more money to get through the next year. So it's been holding nicely for 2 days at 20 cents. I thought by Friday we might see 10. I know that sounds shocking, but that has not it's not degraded as fast as I thought. So I'm evaluating it day by day, and I'll make a updated decision between Wednesday and Friday. If it hangs out and has support at 20 cents, I might consider grabbing it there, because I was willing to do it at 25. Then they had the dilution announcement, and I don't know. I mean, even if it goes to 20 cents and then in a month from now they do a 1 for 25 reverse split, you know how those things tend to do. They reverse split, jump up, and then they trail right back down. So I don't know, if I buy at 20 cents and it goes up to $5 and then starts trailing back down, that's no good either. At some point, MULN's going to have good news and get a pop, though. So I'm going to call it, for me, one of my speculative trades, and hopefully get in as cheap as I can. I've avoided buying MULN this entire time. This past over a year that I've been talking about it, saying I'm not a big fan of their financial situation, I haven't bought it, but it's getting to the point where it's tempting me to put a little bit on it, at least for a momentum trade. So if we'll see what happens this week, and if you have patience and MULN can make it till 2024 and start really producing some cars, then you could start seeing this stock moving. But I think if you're in this play, you should be putting on the patience hat. Good news will make it pop. How high or how long will that pop happen? I don't know. I will have to evaluate each news item as they happen. December 22nd, G Immortal says, thank you for the meeting. I know some people are going to say, well, they'll never pass the dilution. Da, 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 da. Yeah. David Mishery already assured himself that he will pass the dilution by selling himself those preferred shares for $25,000 that give him 1.3 billion shares worth of voting power. It's going to pass. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not anti-MULN. I'm pro EV companies that have production going. That's what I'm looking for. And we may get into Tesla later tonight, because there's some Tesla headlines to talk about. And I did pick up some Tesla last week also. I finally got back in after selling on that run up to 1,200 last year. So is GTII dead, Albert? I might come back to it later in this broadcast, Albert, but we already went through GTII. Alan saying, what is my take on APE and why is it not trading the same price of AMC? Alan, buddy, if I knew, I would tell you. Why, my thesis all along has been that these things should be trading relatively close in price. I do not have a good explanation for APE being $1 while AMC is 7 and change. But I will tell you the things that I have been sharing with folks that could be contributing to it. Number one, as far as I know, you know how institutions, Vanguard and BlackRock, have these funds that are index tracking funds where they have to hold AMC. Well, I don't think that requires them to hold APE. APE is not in an index fund, to my knowledge. So one theoretical possibility is that these big institutions, when they got their APE distribution, sold it all off or have been selling it. That's one possibility. I don't know. Second possibility, I'm going to go through 3 or 4. Don't worry, you conspiracy theorist. I'll get to yours. The second possibility is the amount of influencers and media who've been telling you you're going to avoid dilution by selling APE and moving to AMC. Now, that's not technically true, but you would have avoided the price rundown. You would have avoided the negative sentiment running the price down. So I can't fault those guys that made that decision financially, but technically, you're not going to avoid dilution since they're reported on the same financials. They reported in the same earnings per share calculation, and they have the same vote. But that's the message that everybody heard, and that is the unfortunate feeling, is that APE is not as good as AMC. So there's not as much support for it. That's item number 2. Item number 3, as I'm looking more and more at these plays and what are shorts looking for? Why are they shorting these? There is a whole cabal of shorts, retail and institutional, that are targeting dilution announcements. In fact, there's a website, I think it's called Dilution Tracker, that they use to get the latest on any stocks that are announcing dilution, be it warrants or shelf offerings, what have you. And their general rule is that when dilution is announced, start shorting. So I think there's also some targeted shorting of APE because it is the ticker that had the dilution announcement. And then we get to the 4th item, the conspiracy one, which there is probably some truth to this one also, that the hedge funds, the people that are short AMC, are doing extra work to short it because they know that if they let APE run, that provides the ability for AMC to sell APE and pay down the debt. So they might be putting in extra work, but I'm not really seeing that on the Ortex. The short interest on AMC is much higher than APE. APE is climbing, and the cost to borrow is climbing. But I almost feel like it's more day trading, like in and out. And they might be going in and out on the same day because it's so damn cheap at this point. Like it is, I think, in my opinion, very risky for them to be taking on new shorts at $1 or $1.05. We got Avatar right around the corner. Any bit of good news could make this thing go up 100% in a day. Going from $1 to $2 is easy on good news. Depending on what the news is, it could go much higher than that over a matter of days. Like I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm just saying it is risky for a short to get in at this price. People are asking me a lot of messages. When are they going to convert it to AMC? When is APE going to be converted? I don't think there's any short-term plan to convert APE to AMC. In fact, if you listen to what the executives have said in voice and in quarterly meetings and documentation, this is their words. There is no short-term plan to do a conversion because they want this APE unit to be the way to pay off the debt. So I think we're going to be stuck with APE for years, probably, in my estimation. I don't know why everybody's all excited and hopeful that they just do a conversion. Unless they have a strategic change of direction, they need APE to have the ability to raise money. So I think we will have APE for years until a substantial amount or all of the debt is paid off. My last buy-in on APE was in the $1.20 something range. I have another limit order set up to buy at $1. Could it go lower than $1? Yeah, it could. I was hoping that we'd have a little bit slower bleed out and that they wouldn't push it down this fast before we got to Avatar season. But now we've got to survive 2 more weeks. By survive, I mean deal with this nonsense. But, what's happening in the market right now? Is AMC and APE being targeted? Or other companies being targeted? Yes, but you guys know I talk about market conditions and economics and interest rates. I don't ignore that stuff when I'm looking at any play. There's just not a lot of big institutional money loading into the market right now. And that is affecting a lot of different companies' stock prices. And that may last another 6 months through the January, February earnings cycle for all of these companies: banking, energy, retail, everything. So buckle up, put on your patient hat again. Always be ready for some good news. There's going to be good news specific to AMC starting in 2 weeks. That's good. But the market news is not going to just go away. And maybe Chairman Powell will throw us a bone tomorrow, but with his speech. But we got FTX, we got China COVID nonsense, we got Ukraine, we got energy prices, we got OPEC. It's just, you guys cannot ignore that. If you're in one stock, I don't care if you're in one stock or 50, you should know you cannot ignore what is going on in the market. The people that hate me hate that I say that. How dare you analyze a stock based on what's going on economically, Tony? Just tell us it's going to squeeze tomorrow. Okay, I will tell you it's going to squeeze tomorrow if you get a catalyst. But lacking a catalyst, you're at the mercy of what's going on in the broader economic situation. So we deal with it day by day. Maggie says, 2 weeks. You sound like KC Shaw. We are in the 2-week window, Maggie. We're in the 2-week window. I just for a little sweetener, I bought some, just in case we have Avatar pop. I have some late January 2023 calls that I just bought on AMC with an $8 strike. So whether it's APE that I'm buying for $1 or AMC going, putting my new call options in the money, I'm hopeful that we get a pop on either one of these stocks. We'll see. We will see. Anything Goes is asking about Hellbiz, HLBZ. Yeah, that one just started coming on my radar again as one to watch. Last time we looked at it was back here in August, and I haven't looked at it recently. I mean, this was a good squeeze in August from 45 cents up to 239. I think that was a squeeze, not a reverse split, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone check reversesplithistory.com. I don't recall. But I have not played this, and I don't know what people are talking about on it. Why it's been running up for the past 5 days. But I will look tonight. And get something out if I think it's interesting. Gus says Adamiran only can dilute APE, not AMC, which is probably another reason why no one wants to buy it. I mean, that is true, Gus. That is true. But both of them, the dilution on APE affects both equally in terms of how it translates to the financial statement and voting rights. So what about GME? Someone's asking. Let's put up the daily chart. This is some fancy lines that I've had drawn on here for months and months and months. And it's still in between my accumulate zone, these two yellow lines. I have not bought any since October 20th because it's just been tracking sideways. Were it to drop down to this, what is this, around 22 bucks, that would be my next buy-in for GME. Other than that, I'm going to just sit with what I have and look for a breakout in either direction. As long as, if we don't have any news, that's all I can do. If the overall market breaks down, then I'll be able to buy GME cheaper. Other than that, GME specific news, good or bad, could make it move. So I'm in a holding pattern on GameStop. I do own GameStop. Most recent purchases in September and October. Mia says, Hellbiz, don't they rent scooters? That does sound familiar, Mia. That sounds familiar. Rent or build. But many of these momentum plays, if it is a momentum play, that really doesn't matter what they do. It only matters, are people getting excited about it, and is it cheap? If it's cheap and people pile in, you can drive it up 2, 3, 5, 10x. So that's what I need to go look at, Mia. Who is saying what, and are people getting on board? None of these plays, COSM, GTII, what was that other one? Lou pushed the one that started with the R. Anyways, none of them. There was nothing fundamentally good about any of these companies. They're short squeezes / momentum trades. Glass Onion, yes, I did go see that. Thank you for asking, Frez. I think today was the last day of showing. I just read an article that said, I guess they made around 15 million bucks on limited screens and a 5-day showing. And the experts were saying, hey, Netflix, you should have done a broad release and a longer theatrical window. You could have made 150 million on this thing. The movie was good. I like all of the actors that were in that film. They did a good job. I did not see the first one. I forget what it's called, Knives Out or something. I guess this was a part 2. I really had no expectations going in it other than wanted to support the AMC Netflix thing, and I liked some of the actors that were in the film. But I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. At this point, though, I don't think you can go see it. I think today was the last day. Jeffrey Roche, is he in the house? Oh, there he is. What's going on, Jeffrey? Thoughts on Mark Cahodas, bringer of Z's. I'm not going to comment on Mark other than I guess he was right on FTX. RNVA. Thank you, Rick. David asking thoughts on S&P direction mañana. I have been reluctant. If I thought I could wake up every day, David, and pick the S&P direction, I'd be getting on live streams and doing S&P trades with you. But this is what I call a bipolar market. Let me pull it up here. I was looking at it over the weekend, And we've been on a nice upward trend since October 13th. But as the higher we get, moving back up to 400, 420, the more the higher the risk that any bad news is going to send it running back down. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Hell if I know. I think the market probably going to trade sideways tomorrow and wait and see what Powell says in the evening. Diamond Gal says, is it true AMC are doing layoffs? I saw the TV station, AMC Network, had an article out, and I think it might have said that they were doing layoffs, but that is not AMC Entertainment, the movie company. Pam the Trader, what's going on, lady? Pantheon, what's going on, buddy? Pantheon, if you want to join in, let me know. I'll shoot you over a invite if you just want to kick back and have a hot chocolate up there in Canada and listen in. You're welcome to do that too. Let me see what other questions I missed up here. Alan says, if hedge funds or banks shorting AMC or APE go bankrupt, does APE preferred shares get paid out first? I don't know, Alan. I guess, first question would be, are they shorting both? I don't know that there's any particular order of which one gets paid off first. If it's just one hedge fund that goes bankrupt, someone's going to cover it. AMC and APE. If it's just one, there'll be plenty of money to cover their position between the prime broker and the DTCC. Am I looking at Rhea IPO? Or Baglio? I saw that Teddy had a thumbnail on it. I have not watched it. That's another one I need to look into tonight. Danny R, what's going on? 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Danny. Gus says, will the COVID issue in China hurt the Avatar 2 release? Quite possibly, Gus. In China, yes. Although I saw, I was getting really worried over the weekend about all this protests and stuff. I was like, man, if they start rolling tanks over people in China or break out the AKs or whatever the hell they have over there and start cracking down on people, this is going to be a mess. But now it looks like they're taking the more calm path. Like, all right, we're going to ease up on a couple restrictions. We're going to offer you some incentives to get back in that Apple Foxconn factory and get back to work. But I want you guys to be thinking about impact to Apple of all of these disruption to manufacturing. Could be some opportunities. I don't know if for puts possibly. And I don't know if that, or, just wait and see if the stock price comes down. And I don't know if that opportunity is this week or wait until earnings and see if they blow it. But it is something I'm going to be spending a little more time looking into. I don't have any Apple right now. Recently, what I bought on dips was Amazon and Tesla. But Apple is on my list to add a little bit. And yes, I would buy a Tesla cell phone if Elon made one. It'd have to be a pretty good cell phone, though. Crypto, I'm most bullish on, William, right now in this sort of market condition where we're having exchange after exchange go bankrupt. I'm most comfortable in cash, to be honest. But if I had to pick one, Bitcoin, just to be as blunt as possible. If you guys have been tuning in, you know that I've been lightening up as a temporary preventative measure. I didn't do anything when Voyager went bankrupt and all of these stable coins crashing. But once the FTX news came out, I started lightening up some of my crypto, moving it into cash and just parking it. Because, if we have complete failure in crypto, I want to have my cash available to go in and buy it on the dips. And I don't want to ride that down. I don't think I'm at any major risk of Bitcoin running from 17,000 to 50. If it starts running up, if I got to buy it 18, I'd be okay with that. Tindy time, what's up, brother? But right now, most of my crypto is either in cold storage or in cash. Again, that is temporary. And I saw that Gemini also, you guys probably already know this, the Gemini earn accounts, just anyone who is lending out crypto, they're having problems getting those loans paid back. And that is in the fine print. A lot of the earn accounts on these different brokerages are not insured. Go read your fine prints. If you're day trading crypto or swing trading it, you're probably going to need to keep a little bit of liquidity on the exchange. But if you got stuff parked for the long term, make sure you got a cold storage wallet. I did see a Russian, was it a Russian crypto billionaire that had a helicopter crash today? Nick is asking, okay, there's a couple comments on CBDC. So my thoughts on that vary from other folks that are talking about it. Surprise. I am very concerned, like everybody, about the government controlling our purchasing and our ability to buy things, that control aspect of a central bank digital currency. I'm right there with all of you on that. The timeline for its CBDC, I think, is several years away. I'm not going to argue or debate it with anybody. I'm just based on, and I could end up being proven wrong, but based on congressional testimony from the Fed, based on congressional concerns, based on banking system concerns, it would be very difficult and problematic to rush out a central bank digital currency. Now, I understand everybody who thinks they're going to rush it out. I do not agree with it, and that's okay. We all have our different way of looking at things. It would fuck up the banking system if they rush it out and haven't thought it through, because a lot of banks depend on the current banking system and lending out cash to be profitable. So I don't think that they're going to risk ruining the number one largest, country, the US dollar, by rushing out a central bank digital currency. Do they want to hurry up and get it to be competitive? Are they actively working on it? Yes, absolutely. But while I share everybody's concerns about it, I'm not worried about it in the short term. Did the helicopter crash into a surface-to-air missile? I don't know. I didn't read the details. I saw the headline that said, mysteriously, one passenger opted not to go at the last minute. Here, can you hold my bag? I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. We got to leave now. Okay, I'll catch the next one. What do I think about RNVA, Lyndon? I'm just going to assume that's a joke. Maggie says, why is that any different than our debit cards? The closest thing I could compare it to, Maggie, is debit cards generally are backed by a banking account. The closest thing that I could compare a central bank digital currency to that they are worried about is the proliferation of non-banking apps like Venmo and PayPal and Square. That removes cash from the banking system, and that screws with the Fed's and the Treasury's ability to manage the money supply. So that's the closest thing that I could compare it to. All right, let's talk about Tesla for 1 second. As I mentioned, I did recently take a position back in Tesla. Let me see if I can put up this chart. I forget what I bought it at, but it's in the Discord. Let me see. Let me find my post. Of all those plays that were in the last 2 months, I'm looking at my trading post in the Discord. I did have some CRTD. I forgot about that. I sold that back on November 4th. Too soon. Amazon I got at 88.50. What is it at right now? 92.42. I bought Meta also. I forgot about that. I bought Meta at $99. What is it at? 109. I'm up a little bit on that one. I thought I bought Tesla, but I don't see it posted here. I'll have to go back and look at my. Oh, here it is. 167.95. So I'm in the green on that one also slightly. But what I was reading today was just an article, just something to think about. Tesla's enjoyed a very optimal position, being I think they have 60 or 70% of the market share of EVs. And I want you guys to be thinking PE ratio of 44, forward PE ratio of 44. I want you guys to be thinking about Tesla losing market share over the next couple years. This is not a next 3 months concern, but it is something I'm going to be keeping in the back of my mind as I'm making my trading plan on Tesla. Do I want to hold it forever, or do I want to swing trade it, buy it on big dips like we're on right now, and sell it on run-ups, and then just keep repeating that? It's going to be a delicate dance with Tesla to time all of these new major auto manufacturers and startups challenging their market share. And the other thing that I was thinking about in that is market share overall is also going to increase. So I got a little bit of calculating I need to do. Even if their market share is increasing, as the overall market for EVs increases, maybe it's not going to affect their overall sales. So a lot of things to think about, but I want you to be thinking like that when you're looking at Tesla. And then, of course, the media is saying Elon's distracted. As I was feeding the chickens tonight, I don't know why that was the appropriate time to be thinking about Elon Musk and everything he has on his plate, but I'm thinking that Elon probably has some pretty good people helping him run Tesla. And the guy probably works like a devil too. I bet he doesn't sleep. A good CEO, a good executive knows how to delegate. But man, when it comes to Twitter, there's not a whole lot of delegating going on. He's a what's the guy on Yellowstone? The one that just got elected governor? Fire everybody. I don't need a policy committee. I'll tell you what the policies are. Frank, what's going on? Frank says, does it make you nervous? The AMC community has pretty much scared anyone with a big name. Meet Kevin, Mark, Cahodas, Matt, Trey, Short the Vixen, all celebrities. I don't. What do you mean by scared them, Frank? Expand. Maggie's asking, when APE goes below $1, are we supposed to buy or let it crash? What I want you guys to do, here's my plea to you tonight. Look, I'm not happy that Adam Aaron and AMC are not doing a good job, in my view, of explaining why APE is just as good as AMC. And I tweeted Adam Aaron tonight and I said, as we're approaching $1, Adam, sure would be a good time to see some forms filed showing that the executives bought APE. I want you to think about tweeting Adam Aaron and suggesting that to them. It's pretty damn cheap, Adam. Why don't you go buy 50,000 shares? Why don't you have everybody on the board go buy 50,000 shares? Show us that you believe in it. Put out a fucking press release, a FAQ, something explaining how you're not going to avoid dilution by buying AMC and not APE. You're going to get diluted with either one in terms of earnings per share and voting. You're not going to avoid it. Adam, we need you to do something to support APE. Pam, glad you made it home safely. Jake says Polestar had a decent little move in the few weeks. Yeah, Polestar I like. I did a video on Polestar a few months back, right when they did the ticker change, and I went and actually visited the dealership. We have a dealership here in Austin, and they have production in multiple continents. This is one you should have your eye on if you like the EVs. For me, this is a safer play than MULN by a long shot. People don't like it because it's $7 and not 20 cents, but they are years ahead of MULN. Frank says this community can be very toxic. I'm talking about scaring people away. A lot of these people finally had enough. We don't want to be a tiny echo chamber. So, yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about that, Frank. I've talked about this many, many times. Look, everybody has different opinions. Everybody has different paths to get to the finish line. And if I'm on one road and my friend Marcel is on another road, but we both are looking at the finish line up ahead, we're not going to be punching each other as we're going down the two roads. I'm okay with people having different opinions. Marcel is okay with people having different opinions. There are a bunch of dimwits in this community who, if you don't agree with them, want to attack you. They are the cancer. And yes, they have run people off. And by dimwits, I mean people on Twitter, YouTube, in the comments. If you're attacking someone who has the same end goal as you, you are part of the problem. We don't all have to agree on how we get there, as long as we agree that we have the same goal. And anyone that believes in that, I will support you. We might have minor differences. Hey, this is America. We have free speech. You're entitled to your views. I'm entitled to mine. And we all share our own opinions and our own due diligence. And we move to the finish line together. But yes, Frank, there are people driving folks out of this play. And I don't know what sense that makes. How is that helping your end goal if you're so toxic that you're attacking other people? If you want this play to succeed and you're attacking people on a regular basis, then I can only assume that your stated goal of having a short squeeze is a lie. That being said, switching back into my nicer side, emotions get high. Emotions get high in a bear market. Emotions get high when people are clickbaited for 2 years with dates and things that don't work out. That's why this channel is here, to cut through all the clickbait, not talk about dates, explain how the markets operate, explain how economics operate, not just in the US, but around the world, and how that affects plays. While we are waiting for some catalyst, a good news catalyst, a market crash catalyst, you can pick whatever catalyst you want. I don't really care. When a catalyst happens that brings in massive money into the play, it will squeeze. But we're in a holding pattern and the market right now is not helping. So in the meantime, I'm going to talk about the boring stuff and just accumulate thousands of more haters because I'm not telling you it's squeezing tomorrow. I don't know fucking when it's going to squeeze. I maintain that the catalyst that happens that makes this play move will be something that no one is expecting. The infamous Tony Denaro coined unknown catalyst. And I'm relentlessly patient to wait for that to happen. And I'm not bothered about the stock moving up or down in a channel when the market is a wreck and we have China COVID and we have Ukraine Russia war. We have the Fed raising rates and we have institutions moving money out of equities. Those are just facts. This is not an environment where money is pouring into plays. Money is pouring into plays that have momentum. You should be asking yourself, how do we get that momentum back here? Not by attacking each other. Nope. Not by attacking each other. Will there be legal ramifications on FTX, Maggie? I don't understand how that guy's not already arrested. Old Sammy of the Afro. Must have paid off the right people, Maggie. Watch them. They'll go after Kevin O'Leary and whoever else advertised it. And they won't do anything to Sam. He was really just a good kid. This is sarcasm. He had a lot of good goals for humanity. And, someone probably lied to him. It was an honest mistake. He had good intentions. No, fuck that dude. He's a scammer. His good intentions was the scam. That was the cover. He should go to jail for a long time. Scavenger, I sent you a link on Twitter if you want to join in. Right now, stock futures are flat as Wall Street awaits Mr. Powell speaking tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to say, we're going to, barring any new economic news, we're probably going to go down to 0.5 point for the next rate hike. Asian markets are mixed right now. The Nikkei is in the red. Shanghai and Hong Kong are in the green. Korea's in the green. Gold at $17.52. West Texas crude $79. Brent 83 and climbing. I think tomorrow again will be a tread water day for the market if there's no new news. As far as getting back to the gentleman's comment, I think it was Frank about people being chased out or scared out of this, covering this. There were some that you mentioned, like Meet Kevin and Matt, that opted early on to get out on their own. I don't know. I wasn't watching Matt to know if he got out because people were being mean to him. Dave says, you might not be clickbait, but you're one pessimistic mofo. Oh, Dave. It's tough being the sobering voice, Dave. I mean, if you want me to play sound effects and dance around and wear funny bandanas, I guess I could do that. But I don't want to I don't view my views on things as pessimistic. I view it as realistic. I live in a world of reality and data. Like I tweeted out the other day, I don't talk about a lot of the clickbait stuff, a lot of the hopium stuff, because I can't see it. That's just my choice. This channel is not for that. There's plenty of other channels to cover that. Why do I want to be exactly like every other channel? Just put out clickbait day after day, be wrong day after day. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to do that. I will not do it. I'd rather be a little boring and you call me pessimistic and provide 95% accurate information for year after year. I do wear funny hats. Yes, I do have some funny glasses. Maybe if I put on some funny glasses, Dave will feel better. There we go. Alexa's channel says, hey, Tony, there's a lot of stocks under a penny. How long more till they go to the OTC market? A lot of stocks under a penny. I mean, if they're under a penny, Alexa, they should already be an OTC. Did you mean under $1? Thank you, Scavenger. Yeah, we'll get you on the next one, buddy. Go get some sleep. Someone said you're not that good. Oh man, I can already hear the haters clipping this. Tony Denaro's a liar. He said he's 95% right. Let me show you 3 clips where he was wrong. Yeah, I'm not always right, guys. And I do drink on camera. I'm a grown man in my house. If you got a problem with that, then you must have been dropped on your head as a child. Dr. Zeno in the house. What's up, Doc? Maggie, thank you for the contribution. Good to see you. Maggie says the community needs you. Now that some of these plays are wrapping up, Maggie, I really didn't want to be on every day talking about GTII and COSM and RNVA and CRTD and finger all day, every day. I know that's all anybody wants to talk about, and I don't want to be on talking about these plays all day. So now that we're just about done with those, I will be talking about the next one and other day trade opportunities. Maybe later this week, maybe next week. River Driver, thank you for checking in. Go get some sleep. Wedmore says, how much of your brackets increased or decreased with everything that happened over the last 6 months? So I don't have any specific brackets per se, Wedmore, on any play. Every play that I decide to sell, when I sell, I'm looking at momentum and volume. That's it. When I see it topping out, I'll be starting to take some profits. Some plays run up, come back down, and then have immediately another rally right back up. So I don't know, on the first run up, if I'll sell all of it or hold a little bit for a second chance. And I'm not talking any one specific stock, but depends on the size of my position. If it's just a day trade type play, I'll try and get in cheap and usually sell almost all of it. And if it comes down, I'll rebuy once it starts curling back up. But I have a large position in AMC, so I have a lot of flexibility. Some of those were bought as cheap as $8. Some were as expensive as 38. So, but I don't have a bracket. I tell you, I was not in GameStop in January of 2021, but if I was, I would have made the fatal error. To be fair to myself, I was watching it on the periphery, but I wasn't doing all the deep dive due diligence. And it just blew way past where I ever thought it would. That was my fault for not following it closely or understanding really what was going on. That's what got me to start paying attention. And what brought me ultimately to AMC also. The more I know a stock, the more I'm willing to let things ride. But my brackets are not in the $500,000 price range like some of these channels. I'm not going to tell you a price range because I would feel really bad if I made someone a bag holder or if I made you sell too soon, because I'm a little more conservative than some. Paul V says, are you still buying APE? Paul, my last purchase on APE was in the $1.20-ish range. I forget the exact penny, something like $1.27, and I have a standing order to buy 10x that amount at $1. So if we hit $1 tomorrow, I'm going to buy 10 times my last purchase. I sure hope we don't see $1. But I mean, if you look at the chart, if there's no good news in the market or no good AMC news, I don't know what stops us from sliding at least intraday below $1 tomorrow. I sure hope it doesn't. That's one order I would like to see not get filled. Big K Boom asking any thoughts on MMTLP. Yeah, we already talked about it earlier in this broadcast. I'm happy to repeat it briefly with the caveat that these are my opinions based on my own due diligence. I have not been following Torchlight and MMAT as closely as some people have for 12, 18 months. Let's just get that out of the way. But I know the people that are pushing these plays, and they get a lot of things horribly wrong. So based on my due diligence, the data that I can see, I'm not in agreement that there's 80 million hidden shares carried forward from Torchlight that must be covered. And so what I have been saying for the last couple months on Torchlight is ride it up. $10 to $12 was a great play if you've been riding it up. And I didn't know where it was going to stop, but it stopped there. And I think over the next couple of weeks, this is just my guess. If I had to put money on it right now, my guess is you'll see a slow fade and then a big drop. I'm not in the play. I'm not long. I'm not short. That's just based on my research on it. Wedmore says, you mentioned once that you would only sell your purchased APE, not the initial stock you were given. Wedmore, so what I was talking about in that sense, if there's let's say a good news pop, if there were an avatar related pop that drove AMC and APE up, say AMC to $15 and APE to $5, $6, $8. And in my view, that good news press release was not going to carry over and ignite a short squeeze, then yes, I would sell the APE that I have bought, the extra ones that I bought since August. I would sell those if I was in a position to take a profit on those APE. But my bulk, my long held shares of AMC and the split APEs that I have, those are being held for a squeeze, a real squeeze. The APE that I'm adding is, well, I mean, it's not exactly working out, is it? But the APE that I'm adding was supposed to be a swing trade on news type momentum money generator. So far, I've just been averaging down. It's not been the best trade. Clark says, how long would APE need to stay below $1 to get delisted? So that is a common question that I get, Clark. I've looked into it briefly, and I'm going to have to say, I don't know. I don't know that APE would be delisted, first of all. Second of all, generally, once it goes below the threshold price, depending on the exchange and what the price is on that exchange, that you have a certain amount of days for it to be below that price. And then once they issue a delisting notice, you have another generally 10 days to get back over that price. Is that right? No, no, that's not right. It depends on the exchange. You might have 180 days. I forget on NYSE. Too many facts floating around in my head. But I think, and I'm hoping that with the Avatar news, that we won't need to worry about that. I'll dig into that more when it becomes relevant. And I am expecting, Wedmore, good things from Avatar. Maybe as good as Maverick, maybe better. Do I really believe that AMC can squeeze? Christine, I do. Yep. Any stock can squeeze. If you have, here's my criteria for squeezes: high short interest, high cost to borrow, high retail interest or buying pressure, and those usually come, you usually have the setup of high short interest and high cost to borrow. Then you get a catalyst often. Sometimes you don't get a catalyst. You just get like COSM or GTII. You just get some folks talking about it and talk it up. Those were lower float plays, easier to move the price, and they were much cheaper. But high cost to borrow, high short interest, a catalyst is good. A lot of buying pressure to overcome the shorts. And some people are going to hate me for saying this, a loaded up options chain, which does not mean I'm telling you go buy a bunch of options. But when you see the buying pressure happening or a catalyst or a combination of those two, people are going to start buying options. And that really ignites the short squeeze. So all of those things in combination, yes, there could be another short squeeze. Right now, AMC is being shorted because the fundamentals are, to be blunt, still a bit of a mess. They got $5 billion in debt. And we're still not turning a profit. So one by one, AMC is working to fix those. And they're not going to pay the debt off anytime soon unless there's a squeeze and they sell a bunch of APE. So let's take that off the table for right now. The next thing that really needs to happen is get enough good movies out where AMC can get in a positive EPS situation and then sustain that. The better the story is fundamentally for the company, the less shorts are going to want to short it. I know that blows some people's minds, but generally stocks are shorted because there is some problem. And then you get in this dug in position like we're dealing with on this play. And many plays, they get dug in. We need AMC to prove them wrong, that it is not a good bet to short this stock. Fixing the fundamentals will change that story and get some of them to start covering. As the fundamentals improve, the press releases go out, the price will organically start moving up and the shorts will start getting out. As they start getting out, the price goes up more, so on and so on. As good news comes out, more people have the confidence to come back into the play. A lot of interesting things could happen. In my worldview, this requires, if you're in this play, that you have some patience. Might not be on the timetable that other channels are telling you. That's not because I want to sit here and make 20 YouTube videos every day. I don't do that. Just telling you my worldview. But if a catalyst happens tomorrow, I'll fucking take it. I will take it. LA, do I think we'll get paid in CBDCs? No, we talked about that 20, 30 minutes ago. LA, I'm not in the camp that CBDC is any time on the short term horizon. Couple years is what I'm thinking. I do have a video out on CBDC with testimony in front of Congress and a little bit of talk about why it's not going to be quick. If you want to hear a different side of the story, go check that out. I understand everybody thinks it's coming in January or tomorrow. I understand, and I'm not for a CBDC, but I don't think it's going to happen as quickly as people are worried about. Alexa says all we need is for a millionaire to buy 516 million shares and present it to a judge. Hello, the board, Adam Aaron, CEOs. Y'all don't need to buy $516 million worth, but it'd be nice if the board and the executives would step up and file some paperwork saying that they're accumulating APE now at $1. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm tired of seeing people say for the last 2 years, all they've done is sell. It's fucking $1, guys. Go buy some. I'm talking to the board, talking to Adam Aaron. Go buy some. File the paperwork. Show people you believe in it. Nel Santiago asking, is it possible that the hedge funds are so dug in they can't afford to get out, even with debt being paid up? I've heard people suggest that, Nels. I don't know that I have a good answer for you on that, but I do know that as crypto gets evaporated and the equity markets get evaporated and all these big plays that they were in get eviscerated like Meta, that they are taking collateral hits. Which is good news for us. If you are short a bunch of different tickers, and hey, these guys are short typically thousands of different stocks, billions of dollars for some of them. You got to have collateral to back up those short positions. On the one hand, they're losing collateral, but on the other hand, the market is crashing, so their short positions are making them money. So I don't know that I could simply answer that question. I know what people want me to say, but if I can't confidently say it, I'm just going to tell you I don't know. Stay Up says, can you speak about Highcroft paying back debt? Was there news on Highcroft? I have some Highcroft videos out. I got some more in the works. Oh yeah, I didn't see this 6 hours ago. All right, Highcroft, let's pull this up here. Highcroft Mining announces debt reduction of 12 million. Might be a good time to get a Highcroft video out tomorrow. HYMC. Company reduced outstanding debt by approximately 12 million in 2 transactions. Highcroft purchased a total of 12.2 million of debt in exchange for cash consideration of 6.7 million plus 500,000 shares of Highcroft common stock. Well, it looks like on the one hand they reduced debt, but on the other hand they did a little bit of dilution. I'll need to read that when I'm not live so I can fully digest that, and I need to go back and look at the financial statements and look at their overall debt. But for me, whatever they do, Highcroft still is for me a long-term play. They got the drilling and exploration program going on. They've got that new milling plant they need to spec out and build. And I think we're looking at maybe some good news on drill results in the next several months, 2, 3, 5, 6. But really what I'm really waiting for is probably 2024 for Highcroft. At the earliest. We're going to have to wait into the beginning of next year, 2023, when they get all of their drilling results analyzed and develop this new milling operation, spec it out, price it, create a schedule. Probably going to have to raise some money based on what I'm estimating it's going to cost. And that is all going to take some time. So I have Highcroft. I have, what are my calls are, I think 20, 25 calls on Highcroft. And I have some shares, but for me, that's a long-term play. Natalie says, I don't invest in big tech, but I did do PayPal, DWOC, and fun. Natalie, what do you think about the headlines that were going around today about that dinner meeting that Trump had? They're saying he's consorting with anti-Semites. The establishment is really, really trying to throw him under the bus, aren't they? They do not want him to have a chance. We've seen that playbook before. Sufyan says, did you discuss the cash flow DD in your live stream? I did not, Sufyan. Thank you for the reminder. And I got another reminder from Discord on one of our, let me talk about that one. One of our gentlemen said, I think he said his broker was Scotia Bank. Is that right? Scotia iTrade. He said that he noticed today in his broker that his cost basis on AMC got recalculated and his wife's account did not. If you're in that broker, I don't even look at what my cost basis is, honestly. Uh, so I wouldn't know if they change mine or not. I go, when I do taxes, I go back and look at all my buys and I calculate my price basis. I don't go necessarily by what the broker says. Well, I mean, that's a good starting point, but you need to double check it. Let me know. Let me know. Shoot me a comment after you watch this video later on tonight or tomorrow, or drop it in the chat if you have iScotia Trade and if you've noticed a change in your cost basis. They call it the book value in that broker. The other comment that Sufyan is talking about, I put out a tweet kind of recapping some of Sean Goodman's thoughts on AMC from the Q3 earnings call. And I put them in about 5 bullet points, the bullish things that I saw that he said. And I had a mistake. I had an error in that tweet. I said in that tweet that Mr. Goodman said AMC would be cash flow positive by Q4. That was incorrect. So I did put a correction in the thread underneath that tweet with a transcript of what he actually said. What he said was they are expecting in Q4 to be operationally cash flow positive. So when you look at the statement of cash flows, they have cash flows from operations, cash flows from financing. And I think what he was, I misunderstood when I was reading it quickly and put that tweet out. AMC is not going to be cash flow positive anytime soon, but operationally cash flow positive is what he said. So there is a important difference there. Thank you for reminding me, Sufyan. PD Harris, howdy to you in Kentucky, sir. S. Jackson says, Highcroft is an early entry play, good gamble. If it goes up, the price will go real hard. Yep. So just to recap my DD on Highcroft, things that could make it go up. Rising gold and silver prices, bullish for Highcroft. If you see them start going up, that will help Highcroft's price. Substantially good news on drill core results will help Highcroft. But ultimately, all of that, what is really, where the payoff comes is when they start pulling it out of the ground. And they're not doing active drilling. They're winding down the heap leach pads. And we're going to have a bit of a wait till we get to the point where they start pulling stuff out of the ground. So yes, I would say that's a fair assessment, Mr. Jackson. Wedmore says you sound deflated. I'm tired, Wedmore. I'm not deflated. I'm tired. I think I got about 4 hours sleep last night. I almost didn't come on live, but I thought there were some important things to talk about, some of these smaller tickers that you guys are in, and I wanted to just touch base with you. We're not going to stay on too long tonight. Last night, I fell asleep on. Scarlett was doing something with the bunnies, changing their litter box, feeding them and stuff. And I was sitting on the couch in the living room with her, and I just passed out. And then I woke up around midnight, and she's like, "Wow, you must have been really tired. You never go to sleep that early." But then, once I'm up at midnight, I was awake for at least 3 more hours, and then so that was 2, 3 in the morning when I finally went to sleep, and then up this morning at, I don't know what time, 7. So haven't been sleeping the best. Just a lot going on. Every day I've wanted to wake up this morning about 4 o'clock and start trading some COSM, but it was already at 80 cents by the time I woke up and started looking at it in the pre-market. I have not traded Litecoin, Sixsun. Have not. Nell says, do I think Hycroft will pull back some so I can jump in? I mean, it was on a pretty severe downtrend, Nels, to the point where I was, ready to put in a 50-cent buy limit order, but fortunately we pulled up out of that. We got down to 54 cents, and I had a buy order ready to go at 50 cents. And since then, just a few weeks ago, we've been holding in this 75 cent range really nicely. So hard to say. Watch the overall market, watch gold prices, watch for any news out of Hycroft. If the market is going to crap and gold prices go down and there's no news from Hycroft, yes, we could. If everything kind of stays where it's at, then we'll probably consolidate here for a while. Thoughts on XRP, LA? I have not owned XRP in a couple years. And we went over a headline earlier in this broadcast about Coinbase saying that they weren't going to be supporting some cryptos anymore, including XRP, because not enough people are trading on it. So I don't have any plans to buy XRP, but I don't have anything specifically against it. And I haven't looked in a couple weeks to see if there's any updates on the SEC lawsuit. Oh, Trey MC. Thoughts on DRSing shares? Are you working for one of the hater channels, Trey? They're just like, wait, get the clip ready. He's about to talk about DRS. This is our moment. We're about to have some content for tomorrow. We're going to trap him into talking about DRS. You do you guys. I'm not here to give financial advice on DRS. There's plenty of people talking about it. You don't need to hear my opinion. I'm just teasing Trey, but that's what they do. They send people over here, Trey, to ask questions so that they can't come up with any real meaningful contribution to this community on their own. So they try and clip other people's content to shit talk other people that are trying to support this stock. And for that reason, since they are so emotional and spiteful, I'm not talking about DRS. Maybe I could have been on their side, maybe I'm not. But the fact that they are so evil, I'm just not going to talk about it. They have. I don't like dealing with people like that. Not good people. Danny says, Adam Aaron just tweeted about bringing Top Gun 2 back again. Do it, Adam Aaron. I would go see it again. All right, let me pull up Twitter here. We've all been expecting some good news. I know some of you, along with me, some good news from CEO Adam. Let's see. Let's see what he's got. By the way, I ordered some merch, and I put instructions out if you're wondering how to buy it. I saw Bigham's put some out also. Let's see what he said here. This 3 minutes ago, this is one of, let me put this screen share up here. This is one of my best pictures of 2022. In partnership with Paramount, AMC will play Top Gun Maverick again at more than 400 US theaters starting Friday, December 1st. All right, Adam. Hey, we were a little bit worried about Avatar not starting till December 15th. This is a hell of a good idea. Get 2 more weeks of revenue opportunity coming back into AMC theaters. By the way, speaking of that merch, free shipping today only. TikTok, motherfuckers. Today only. If you order merchandise off of AMC's shop, free shipping. Unfortunately, I ordered mine yesterday, so I had to pay shipping. Womp, womp, womp. That's okay. I saw that movie twice. We saw it in a regular theater and we saw it in digital. I don't think I've seen it in IMAX yet. So that is, if they have it in IMAX here, that's next on my list. One other thing that I tweeted about, if you're not on Twitter, and there's a lot of people, I think, that are genuinely just not knowledgeable about accounting rules. I don't know if Sufyan's still in here, or our resident CPA, but I put out a tweet saying, if you really want to do something to help AMC in Q4 and you're thinking about buying gift cards, nothing wrong with buying gift cards. Nothing wrong with buying gift cards. But I think a lot of people don't realize that when you buy a gift card, if you bought $100 worth of gift cards that in December and handed them out, that is not going to be revenue recognized in December. What did he say? But I spent the money. How could they not recognize the revenue? So the way that gift cards work, according to generally accepted accounting procedures, is you cannot book revenue in your financial statement or in your books until you actually provide the service. So yes, you bought a gift card and they got the cash, but a liability account is created called gift card liabilities. And so it's not going to show up in revenue if you're buying gift cards until the person you gift it to. I heard someone that said they were going to buy $1,000 worth of gift cards for themselves to help AMC out, and because they knew they'd see $1,000 worth of movies over the next 12 months. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. I just want you to know, if you're buying gift cards thinking that you're going to help out Q4, it's not going to matter unless they're used in the month of December. At the time that they're used, the money comes out of the liability account and transfers into a revenue account. So you can Google it. I put a link in my Twitter to those accounting rules. I know, people's moms, sisters, cousins, best friend run their own stores, and they book it as soon as they receive the money, but that's not how accounting is supposed to work. So what's the alternative? Buy gift cards. There's nothing wrong with it. Just recognize that it's not going to contribute to revenue from you buying it. What will contribute to revenue right away is buying something like merch, or even better, concessions or a mega bag. There's Sufyan. Sufyan says, Tony, you are correct. Yeah, I actually, in one of my businesses, which I don't own anymore, we sold gift cards, and that was the first place that I learned that years ago. And it's mind-boggling for people to get the concept. I get it. If you're not a CPA, run your own business correctly with a bookkeeper or a CPA on staff, but that is how it works. You buy concessions, you buy merch, you buy a mega bag, those get booked into revenue right away. So if you're trying to decide between buying $100 worth of mega bags to gift to people or gift cards, and your sole intention is to help Q4 revenue, buy the mega bags. If you want to give out gift cards, absolutely nothing wrong with it. When they use it, it will be booked as revenue. So I'm not shit talking gift cards. I just want you to understand the difference of how that works. Six Son said, did you buy your Avatar movie ticket? I did, Six Son. December 15th. We're seeing it in the IMAX. I think you can see it in the tweet that I put out today in my pending tickets. I think, guys, Sufyan is also available for CPA services if you need one after the squeeze, or just to do your taxes for this year. It's coming up. Sufyan, what state are you in? And can you handle people remotely? Que onda, Dark Latin? Someone, I saw a question here. Why is APE on a continuous downtrend? Future Blitz, I gave about five reasons why I think it is early on in this broadcast. So I don't want to repeat all those. But I do think that, once we start getting some good news, Top Gun news is good, Avatar news, I'd like to see, Adam, some executives buying APE news. Guys, tweet Adam Aaron and tell him to start buying APE.